Hey everyone, what is up? Welcome to another episode of Kurt on Cougs. Happy first day of March. We are officially now in the best basketball month of the year. Let's go, so exciting. BYU men's and women's basketball both. With not too many games left, only 4 games between the two of them in the regular season. Conference tournaments are coming up. But for matter of fact, I think the first one starts tomorrow. I believe that's the Atlantic Sun Conference. They start tomorrow. So let's go. So excited. Definitely, a lot of excitement this time of year. But we're going to start off by diving into BYU baseball. They, this week, are playing a series up in Spokane against Gonzaga, and they have won the first 2 of that series, so they've already secured the series win, going for the sweep tonight. So that's all really exciting. And then BYU softball, they've had a very busy week. It's hard to keep up with baseball and softball, not gonna lie, just so many games happening, but really, really fun. They have won 3 games this week so far, beating Sacramento State, UC Davis, San Jose State, and then they're currently in another game against San Jose State, currently leading that one. Last I checked, I think like 9-2, and then later tonight they'll play UC Riverside. So, good stuff going on, both the men's and women's sides for the Batcats. And then jumping over to BYU track and field. Also, a lot of good stuff been going on there, as BYU produced both of the Big 12 5K winners, in Casey Klingler and Lexi Holiday Lowry. As well as a lot of other top 10 finishers, and the 3rd place athlete in the, and a 3rd place finish overall in the pentathlon by Macy. I saw it on their post, but did not see a last name there. So Macy, whatever her last name is, took 3rd in the pentathlon. So solid start so far by the Cougars. Those track and field conference championships, really excited to see it. And BYU men's volleyball has the week off. Next week they'll be playing against USC, so that's all going to be good. So now diving into basketball real quick, we're going to start with BYU women's basketball, since they have a game in just about 30 minutes. They'll be playing against Utah, another rivalry game, trying to get revenge for an earlier loss in Provo. A whole lot going into this game. Last game of the regular season could determine some things within conference standings. Unfortunately, earlier this week, they lost to Kansas. Okay, I'll go into that one real quick. The big difference in the game against Kansas was that BYU only shot 6 free throws, only managed to make 2 of those also, just didn't shoot well from there, while Kansas shot 22, so more than 3 times more free throws than the Cougars, and ultimately that was the deciding factor in this game, as they end up losing by 5. Amari Whiting having a very good game, as she put up 24. A tough loss, which at this point means that they are right now just fighting for the 12 seed in the conference tournament. With a win today, they would lock that in. If not, it would come down to what happens with the teams behind them, which are Texas Tech, UCF, Arizona State. All have 3 wins, while BYU has 4. So I don't know how tiebreakers would exactly work in each of those situations. I believe BYU has a tiebreaker over UCF. Texas Tech has the tiebreaker over them. And Arizona State, that series was split, so I don't know who wins those tiebreakers. So, but of course, big game in the Huntsman Center. And my outlook on this one, personally, I'm optimistic due to how close BYU made it last time they played against the Utes. I think my big question at this point is, does this team come in with the right motivation? Do they come in believing they can really go out there and compete with this team, beat this team? Because right now, on a 3-game losing streak, So I do worry a little bit on if they come into this one very much confidence. Personally, I think if they play confidently against the Utes, I think they can get the win in this one. Utah, of course, really good team, so it's going to be tough. But here, in my opinion, are things that I think they need to do if they are going to beat Utah. First and foremost, I'm going to go with, I think they need to stop Neepkins. Don't remember her first name. Wait, okay, here it is, right here. Gina, okay. Gina Neepkins last time, when the Cougars matched up against Utes, she dropped 32 points. So yeah, it was obviously a huge factor in Utah's victory over BYU at the Marriott Center. So I think stopping her, or really slowing her down, is going to be a very important factor. If she gets going again for a lot of points, I honestly don't think you got much of a chance. So I think you got to get the stop in that department. And then on the offensive side, one thing that BYU did pretty decently well last time these teams played, and it was a big reason that this game was close towards the end, was shooting threes well. So if the Cougars can hit their threes today, I think they can keep this game close and put themselves in a position to win by the end. And so my bold prediction for today's game is that I am predicting that the Cougars will overcome a 5+ halftime deficit to win this game, end the regular season with that victory. And so, yeah, that's my bold prediction. And yeah, I think the Cougars hang with the Utes for the first half and then manage to get ahead in the second half and ultimately win this game. So that is my predictions for BYU women's basketball. And I think also a win would just be really good, especially heading into the conference tournament. Just get some of that confidence. Utah's a good team, so getting a win over them will give you a little bit of a boost going in. Even though at this point, best you can get is the 12 seed. Still, just get a little momentum, and then I could see this team making a little bit of a run, winning a game or two in the conference tournament. All right, now jumping over to men's basketball. Earlier this week, had a very solid victory against Arizona State. If they weren't already a lock for the NCAA tournament, that to me pretty much means they are. And it was an interesting game. Arizona State, of course, very, very short-handed. But they fought really hard, and yeah, a whole lot of respect to Arizona State. They played a really good game considering everything they had. Their freshman point guard, Something Best, really looked amazing out there. He looked really good, and ultimately the Cougars are able to come out with a 10-point victory. The good news in this one, Richie Saunders goes for 26. He has been on fire recently, 3 straight games with 20+. And Cougars from three-point land were on fire, hitting 17 from out there. So a very solid win. Now, the thing that I heard after the game, most fans being concerned about, was the fact of just how poorly BYU is doing on free throw shooting. This is a problem we've seen throughout the year. The bad news is that is a weakness for sure. You definitely want to improve that. The good news, in my opinion, is that they've already been experiencing that. So, they have a chance to fix it at least before March Madness, because I feel like that's that's a thing that gets a lot of teams in March. It's just poor free throw shooting. Lots of really talented teams go out because they just, stop doing well on free throws. So I feel like all these early struggles could lead to them being better in the future, being more prepared for those games in March. But ultimately, a win is a win. Third straight game scoring 90+. This BYU team is hot on offense, and now they will be playing against one of the best defensive teams in the league, which is West Virginia. A team BYU beat before in Morgantown by 4 points. That was a close game, and I don't expect a whole lot different tonight. I think that, this one will be another close one. Once again, West Virginia, a very extremely talented defensive team, one of the best in the conference. I'm definitely looking for some revenge from that last loss to BYU, and very important game as well. You win this one, in my opinion, you probably lock yourself into the 5 seed at bare minimum, because The nearest team that could catch you at this point is Kansas, and they currently look to be headed for another loss against Texas Tech. So in that case, that would give you a 2-game lead over them. You already have the tiebreaker. So in that case, 5 seeds pretty much all yours. At that point, you're going for the 4 seed when you play against Iowa State on Tuesday. So so a whole lot on the line with this game. This would be another solid addition to their resume, which is looking really good at this point. It's kind of interesting seeing the number of quad ones, though. They keep on fluctuating. A few teams going back and forth. Baylor, for one, has kind of jumped up to quad 1, gone back to quad 2, back and forth. So final resume, going to be very interesting to see how that turns out. Tonight's game, a very, very important one. And in my opinion also as well, I think if you win this game, I'm saying you're nearly a lock to be a single seed as well in March Madness. So real quick, here are my deciding factors for tonight's game against the Mountaineers. Number 1, I think it's going to be really important, just solid shot selection. I know this is something I've said a lot this year, but I think it's really relevant, especially when you're playing against a really good defensive team. They're not going to give you a lot of good looks, so you just got to take the best they'll give you. And in my opinion, if BYU does that, I think they can once again score a lot. I could see this team hitting 80 even against West Virginia, which, would break the string of 90-point scoring games. But at the same time, I don't believe that West Virginia, they have not allowed more than 80 points all season since a game against Arizona before the new year. So, this is a team that does a really good job defending, and so I think that getting to 80 would be really impressive. And the key to doing that would be to do a solid job just picking good shots, taking the best opportunities you can get. And in the meantime, on the defensive side of things, I think a lot of it's going to come down to stopping Javon Small. Their point guard, really, really good. He leads their team in points with 18.4, as well as assist point per game with 5.6. And so if there's anyone from West Virginia that can really cause serious problems for the Cougars, it's probably Javon Small. So stop him and get those good shots. In my opinion, if BYU does that, they should win this game. And my bold prediction for tonight's game is that a post player will get a double-double. I can't remember the last time that happened, but I'm saying either Pusini Torore or Kebakeda. Who knows, maybe even Boskovic. One of them will get a double-double tonight. And ultimately, I think the Cougars win this one. I think this is a game that's close throughout. BYU, towards the end, pulls away a little bit, has some amount of comfort at the end, winning by like 6 or 7. So that's my previews for tonight. Also, one other thing I totally forgot. This week was the NFL Combine. Tyler Batty looking very impressive out there. Here's some of his numbers. Ran a 4.78 40-yard dash. Had a 34-inch vertical. Jumped 10 feet on the board jump. And had 27 bench presses. So he looked really good out there. Probably looking like a top 12, if not top 10 prospect on the D-line this year for the NFL. So I personally think he's going to get drafted. Excited to see where he goes. So that's all I got for today. I'll be reviewing it all tonight. Go Cougs.